All right, let's pick up where we left off. So we're leaving off with applications. Remember, we're still doing our inverses here. So I thought I'd start us off, and I think that these things should be familiar to you, like you did this a lot in 10th grade, so this should be kind of the easy part to wrap things up. So if I ask you to find this angle, notice in relation to theta here, I've got my opposite side, and I've got my adjacent side. So in essence, we are going to use which trig function? Tangent, right? So really saying tangent of some theta is equal to the ratio of 7/4. So remember, how do we undo tangent, or what's the inverse of tangent? Arctangent or tangent inverse, and then we put in the ratio. In this case, we then get out our angle. And there's two different ways you can have it, right? Like if I did it in degrees, if I did it in radians, that's probably what your calculator is in, we would end up getting inverse tangent of 7 divided by 4 is equal to 1.052 radians. However, in a lot of times in these application problems, you may actually need to change your calculator to degrees, because in these applications, you'll more likely want a degree. So this is equivalent to 60.255 degrees. Recall that, or kind of like keep that in the back of your mind as we look at these next ones. So, at the Cliffs of Insanity, the Great Sasquatch Canyon is 7,117 feet deep. From that point, a fire is seen at a location known to be 10 miles away from the base of the sheer canyon wall. So you got this canyon wall, right? That's 7,117 feet. And then we've got 10 miles away, and you've got this like little fire happening. What's the angle of depression? What angle of depression is made by the line of sight? So we're saying, okay, here, remember your angle of depression is what comes down. So we're talking about this angle. There's two ways to express your answer using degree mode, not just one decimal. Okay, so first of all, angle of depression, remember it matches the angle of elevation down here in the lower right. And I think this angle will be a little bit easier to use since it's part of my triangle. Okay, next comment here. If this bottom or base of my triangle is in miles and the height is in feet, I've got to make things equivalent. So let's change this miles to feet. So if you think about taking 10 times 5,280, we'd have 52,800 feet as the base. So now you just got to ask yourself, well, which trig function is this? Well, we've got our opposite side and we've got our adjacent side. So we're going to go ahead and do tangent. Tangent, in this case, since we're finding the angle inverse, is 7,117 over 52,800. As you type that in your calculator, we end up with 7.7 degrees. And that makes sense because if the base is a lot longer than the height, it's got to be quite a steep, quite a gradual thing. So a small degree. Okay, let's look at the next one. Suppose a 13-foot ladder. So we got a ladder here, right? And this is 13 feet. Leans against the wall of the side of a house. This is the house. I guess it's a small house in comparison to the ladder wall. Reaching to the bottom of the second floor window that is 12 feet above the ground. And it says, what angle does the ladder make with the house? This is our angle down here. Notice these are right triangles in case you didn't notice, but I think that's pretty obvious given the class. So I've got my opposite side, and I've got my hypotenuse. So therefore, I am using sine, inverse or arc sine of 12 over 13. So as I do sine inverse of 12 over 13, we end up with 67.4 degrees. Okay, that's all I'm going to do for those. There's plenty more there's a few more examples in your notes, but I think this will be the stuff that's familiar and quite natural for you. You're now ready to go ahead and do your homework 14, problems 1 through 17. So this is a combined assignment for the next 3 sections, so just realize you're doing the